What's going on? What's going on? Hey, you guys, it is Friday, September 29th, 2023, and we've been rocking. I know a lot of you guys have been having a hell of a year. I feel like September just flew by. Like, it went by so quickly, and a lot got done. And as you know, if you've been watching me, following me, it's been Life Insurance Awareness Month for me. So it's been awesome just serving families. I think I had the goal of doing 25 families, 25 policies, doing $5 million worth of coverage, and getting 25 new agents on my team. Well, so far, I'm halfway on the agents. I'm at 10 new agents on my team. I've done 18. No, I take that back. I've done 20 because I just added two more today. I've done 20 new families helped, and I've probably done about $3.5 million of coverage total. So I've been getting it in, man. I've been grinding. But I say that because, I set a high goal, a high standard for myself just to go get it, just to excel my business, to really elevate what I got going on. But I don't do it for me. I mean, you guys know that if you've been following me for a while. I did it because I do it because there's so many people who need financial literacy. They need to understand how generational wealth works. They need to understand how money works. And the biggest challenge that I just keep seeing consistently, I've been in the industry for 5 years, is that a lot of people, they lack the education. They lack the drive to seek the education. They don't even know where to start. But getting started is 97% of the battle, because you got to know that you want to do better. And believe me, there's people doing very well off in this country, in this world. There's people who have money, who have income, who are living the life that they truly want to live. But the problem is that's not everybody. That's a very small percent. I mean, a very small percent. I think it's considered being in the top 2% of income in this country. If you make over 250,000, 2% out of 338 million people, if you make over $250,000, you're in the 2% of income of wealth in this country. And so you think about the average median income in this country right now is like $55,000 a year. And that's across the board. That's not just in California. That's not just in Chicago, not just in Florida. That's literally across the country. And that's very sad, because capitalism is real. You guys know I'm super pro capitalism. I'm super pro going out, working, building a business. I have nothing against jobs, but I tell you guys, man, get a business that runs and operates smoothly and efficiently and effectively, because there's no greater feeling than you having a business that creates passive income. I'm telling you. Or there's no better feeling of you actually going to work that business and it excelling, and you profit $100,000 in a year, $200,000 a year on top of what you're doing now with your job. Because at the end of the day, it's like people are working and they're hustling, they're grinding, but they're still barely living check to check, and that's the problem. So I'm gonna bring one of the homies, Tymere, on the call, or not on the call, on the IG live. I think I just saw him join. Let's see. I saw him join. Let's see if we can get him in here. Perfect. Here we go. Did it request him in? Accept. Bam. Let's get him in. Let's get him in. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, bro? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me fine?
Oh man, loud and clear, loud and clear. I just came in, I guess to the first topic, man, of just like not having to choose, if I heard it right. Like, put yourself in a position to be able to work that 9-to-5 job at the same time, build that business, man, as a side hustle, so to speak, that may pay you more than what that full-time gig is paying you, man. Is that what I heard correctly when I came in?
Absolutely, 100%. That's what you heard correctly.
That's good. That's good, man. That was the biggest thing for me. For those who do not know who I am, I'm going to properly introduce myself. I am Tymere Grant, and similar to Mr. Superman himself, right?
You know.
I started, man, just like building a business while also working a full-time job, because I was struggling, right, under that concept of like, I was making good money at the job, right? Just so we're clear, I was the area manager at Walmart, so I got promoted a few times on the warehouse side, and I was making good money, close to 6 figures at that job, and my cost of living where I live at the time in Delaware was very inexpensive. So I was doing well financially, but I was time broke. I mean, we talking 60, 70 hours a week. I mean, I don't know anybody who knows anything about warehouse work, but you don't get a chance to go home until the work is done. That's what they tell you. And like when you work for a company like Walmart, you tell me when the work is done.
Yes.
Come on. The work was never done. The work was never done. So it's never about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. And it's also about what you do with the money that you have, right? Because if you know how to properly like leverage money passively and also residually, you'll never have to worry about it. You got your time freedom, which is more important than anything, because I literally have worked with clients that have made over $250,000 a year. And I work with clients that made $40,000, $50,000 a year. And what I find is those who make more money are doing worse financially than those who are making less.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It sounds crazy, don't it?
That don't make no sense.
Right? But you make more money, you spend more money, so now we're accruing debt. If something happens, a job gets lost or streaming income gets pulled away, now how do you keep up with those things? So now that's big.
Yes, sir. And I know you just hopped on. I love it. We rock well together, so we just went full speed. But tell people about your background, because they know I do financial services, so I do primarily insurance, retirement planning, rollovers, living benefits. I work with entertainers, entrepreneurs, business owners, service workers, military guys, veterans. I work with all that. But tell us exactly what you do real briefly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. So I help folks increase, create, multiply their cash flow, right, through multiple different ways by eliminating debt, right? The easiest way to increase your cash flow is to pay less for the things that you have, right? So we got a platform that helps folks pay less in their everyday bills, also reduce their taxes to get more money back. We're the home of the instant pay raise on my platform, also helping folks increase their credit score so we can stop overpaying for the things that we need, right? Limit those interest rates and have more access to things as well. So really, I guess you can call me Mr. Cash Flow, so to speak, because everything revolves around that. And there's so many different ways to do it. And we got tons of services with the platform I'm partnering with to be able to help with that. Absolutely.
Awesome. And as you guys can tell, we're both in the finance industry, and, we love it. We're inspired by it. I've been in, 5 years? How long have you been in your industry?
Almost 5 years, man. It's crazy. It'll be 5 years here in a couple of months.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. I just hit 5 years in August, so you see how similar it is. But hey, we came on to hit some heavy topics, and I sent you kind of what I want to talk about, but I want you to give me what's fresh on your mind. Give me a good answer, because these are things that I've talked to people about, that I've challenged people with, and sometimes the conversation went very well, and then sometimes people were mad at me, but it wasn't anger that I was doing anything wrong, but I challenged them to think differently about money. So I'm about to hit you with something crazy right now. So I'm going to be loud and clear, and I want you to give me your feedback on exactly how you feel about this. All right. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to try to make it quick. It talks about the concept of money and how it circulates in the community. So listen to this. All right, guys. It says money circulates 0 to 1 time within the Black community, compared to more than 6 times it circulates in the Latino community, 9 times in the Asian community, an unlimited amount of times within the white community. So we're going to break it down into days. Compare these numbers into dollar circulation reported by the NAACP. Currently, $1 circulates in the Asian community for 30 days. In the Jewish community, approximately 20 days. In the white community, 17 days. And guess what? For the Black community, 6 hours. So after hitting you with that, what say ye? How's that make you feel?
6 hours, huh?
6 hours. As if the moment it hits direct deposit on Friday, it's gone by 1 p.m.
So let me get some clarity on this. All right, so when we say Black community, I just want to make sure I'm clear for me and also anybody that's listening, right? I'm all about clarity. So when we say Black community, we mean that the money is going from, all right, let's go here. Tyrone Clark, making a name up, just got paid on Friday, right? He got whatever, $1,000 on his check or whatever that Friday. He goes out, if he spends inside a Black-owned business, that counts as keeping it inside the community. But if he spends outside a Black-owned business, that means that the money went to whatever other culture.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That's heavy. I didn't even know those numbers until you just mentioned that. I would assume that it was something along those lines, but not like so fast, so to speak. So I mean, when I look at that, it really becomes cultural, right? And also in the Black community, I do feel like we have loyalty. So I'm not saying we
Yes.
don't have loyalty. I just don't believe that we're always coachable to understand how to help each other grow, right? And that was me. I only can speak for myself, right? That was me. 471 credit score, knew nothing about credit, constantly had money going the way of, floating over to different cultures, so to speak, because I didn't even understand where my money was even going or who I was even. I didn't like properly research the stuff that I was paying for and the things that I needed. I just felt like I needed something. So I went to go purchase it without that thought process of the culture. So I think that's what it comes down to, is just like where I was at. It's just education. It's just simple education and intention, right? Those other cultures, I'm sure they probably know those. Like you just shared that with me, I didn't know it. I'm sure they probably know it, or at least have an idea of what that is, and they're very intentional when they go out and spend, and we're not so intentional. So that's my feedback on it.
Absolutely. And trust me, we go turn the channel 100 on this one, because you said it at the end. It's education, man. It's the education of money. That's how I started this conversation. Is we're almost afraid to ask the questions because we don't want to be embarrassed or seem dumb. But it's that ignorance is what holds us back. Because I remember when I first heard those stats, and I've shared those stats before, but even rereading it, I was like, I still see that today because it's education. And what I've always said is, people always say they want to change the community, they want to change the Black community, but it starts with the individual families within the community that you have to change. And once you talk to grandma and auntie and uncle and cousins, then they pass down that generation. And I was just reading a book. I can't remember the name of the book right now, but it was saying that in a lot of Jewish communities, Asian communities, they sit down as a family and they talk about money. They have family meetings, and you're required to go to the family meetings. You're required to sit there and listen in on the conversation and say, we have these properties, we have these businesses. How can you help? How can you contribute? And I can say, and I always say this, I'm not taking no shots at my family or anything. I say this in all my presentations, but my family's real big on faith. I'm a Christian man. I'm a believer, been a believer all my life. I've always been curious about business, but we never sat down and talked about business. We never sat down and talked about real estate. We never sat down and talked about what is the stock market. We talked about go to church and then go to school, get a good grades, get a job, right? But at the same time, yeah, I did that. I went to University of Michigan. I got a bunch of debt. I became a police officer because I got a degree in criminal justice, and I was only a cop for 4 years. So I went to school for 5 years and only did my career for 4. And I'm like, so what do I do now? But nobody said, hey, this is how you build a business. This is how you invest in real estate. It's that lack of education and building that culture, which I think is very important. And right now, when it comes to wealth, I think that's where a lot of Black people fail at, is the culture. We're good at music. We're good at sports. We're good at entertainment. We have the talk shows. Hell, we're even good at podcasts and speaking. But the one thing we're not good at is finances. And I'm just like you, man. I was a police officer making 40. What was I making? Like $44 an hour. I was making good money. But literally, I was still living check to check, right? And so that's the problem, is we don't have the education. We're not building the culture. So like you said, we get that money and we were just looking to spend it, where other communities, they're like, how can we build wealth with this? How do we go acquire another asset rather than picking up another liability? And that's the problem that I see. That's why I think it's so important, for even if the bare minimum we do is talk to someone like you, Tymere, and take care of that debt, and then talk to someone like me and leverage life insurance to build those assets. So now we have cash flow growing on this side, but when we pass away, we're passing on $600,000 to all of our beneficiaries. And that's literally how the wealthy have been doing it for decades. So you said it, man. Culture, education, sometimes our own ignorance. And again, you said it. You said, I work with people who make $250K, and they're the worst with their money, right? Because all they do is accumulate debt. They buy liabilities. And I'm like, what if they switched that and they bought properties and they bought businesses and they invested back into the Black community to teach young men and young women how to become entrepreneurs? Like, what are we doing? So I don't know if you want to follow with that and give your input.
Yeah, nah, absolutely. I mean, it's just like you said, the education's so key. And I told myself I'm always gonna put my kids in a better position of where I was, because my parents started understanding this stuff kind of late. But even when they started to understand it late, they still didn't teach me. And it's nothing against them. I'm not saying anything bad against them. Like, what I really think it was is that they were not very comfortable enough with it themselves to be able to share it, because if I start to ask questions, now they stuck.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
You know, I was the kid that had the questions. Like, they knew I was supposed to start reeling off. Well, you know, what about this? What about that? I was that kid. But in the world and the culture that we're in today, we got to be okay with knowing that we don't have to have all the answers, right? I promise you, I don't know everything. I don't know everything when it comes to cash flow. I got to be real with you. I'm more educated than the average person, but I don't know everything. But I'm very okay with getting a concept or getting an idea or getting asked a question and going out and finding that answer, because when you put yourself around the right people and you create leverage, we all are bad at something.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear. Not everybody's good at everything. And you have to be okay with not being good with everything. Get yourself surrounded by people where you can ask the right questions, right? I think the difference is, well, the cultures, kind of going back to the last thing you just asked, is that they're not afraid to ask questions and put their pride to the side and be wrong. And be okay with not knowing. It's okay not to know. You don't have to know everything.
Keep it 100.
I don't even want to know everything. That's a lot of responsibility, right? So,
Yes.
What about that?
Awesome, man. I appreciate that answer. So I'm gonna go to the next question, because I keep seeing this meme float around, and I just talked about it. One of my mentors just talked about in the last training we did, and it's about family support. And the meme showed how when black man gets a job and he posts, "Hey, I just got a job," he gets 5,000 likes, right? He's full support. Oh yeah, you just signed up to work for somebody else. Great. And again, I'm not taking shots at jobs, but again, we're on channel 100 right now. You just signed up to work for somebody else. Great. But then you start a business, it's 4 likes and no comments. And you're like, and just elaborate a little bit, and I want you to answer the question after this, but it's like starting a business is much harder. Sustaining the business is much harder. Having the grit and the discipline to work that business every day is so much harder. You talk about you need more support running a business than it is waking up for a 9 to 5. Let's just, again, we're on channel 100. All you got to do is get your butt in the car, be on time, wear what they say you got to wear, don't cuss, be nice, have customer service. You clock in, you clock out. That's not hard. I'm just telling you. Now, if you're a police officer or a doctor or maybe an attorney, yes, there's preparation and stuff involved. But we're talking Johnny gets a job as a manager at Best Buy. Congratulations, Johnny, you make $60K a year. But Tymere purchases a Best Buy or starts his own version of Best Buy from scratch, puts $200,000 just in an initial investment, and nobody supports him. We're going to see if Tymere makes it in 3 to 5 years. I need your support when I'm starting, not when I make it. So what's up with that, man? Like, my question is, did you get that family support? You don't have to blast your family, but I will blast mine. Did you get your family support? Do they support you? Are they encouraging you? How does that work in your dynamic in your field?
Oh, man, for friends and family and closest people to you are like my experience, right? And also working with other people on my team are the worst when it comes to, like, the absolute worst, right? When it comes to the point where, as though, like, don't even expect them to buy is really what I teach my team. Just make sure that you create education and folks are aware about what you're going on, but don't get emotionally attached to their support because they're thinking of the person that you used to be, right? And and we're all growing and going through a different process of our life. So they seen the come on, man, look at Jesus. Come on, let's go back to the didn't want to in Bethlehem. Come on, that's Joseph and Mary's little boy, right? Like that. I mean, that was the concept of the thought process. So it's the same thing with those that are close to us. But the biggest thing that I teach: don't be emotional about it. Don't be emotional about it. Literally, when I first started in the industry, I just did credit. That was it. So to this day, folks still like kind of see me as that, right? Because that's where I was, laid my groundwork at, so to speak, before we expanded. And shout out to my mom. She did eventually get started, but it took her 2 years. It took her 2 years of seeing me go through the process. I had a 471 when I got started for myself, right? To see me go through and help about 100 other people, right? Before she said, you know what, I'm in, right? It took that long. My mom is pretty supportive in regards. I got a good mom, right? So I'm not, upbringing. She's very supportive with a lot. She went to all my football games. She was the biggest cheerleader, all those things. But when it came to this, she saw me as what I was and not where I was going. Yep. So the support is very minimum at the beginning, but you just got to keep going.
That's key, man. Like you said, I think that's the biggest thing that hurts is I just made a post on this. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Hell, yesterday, right? The person I was yesterday is just as fleeting as the wind, right? I'm a brand new person today, but that's what they see you as, right? People still think I'm a police officer. I've been a police officer since 2016, but hey, are you still a police? Like, no, I know we talked since 2016. No, I do life insurance, right? But that's the key thing is, and again, we're not pushing down our family, but it's very true where the family, like, most of my family ain't reaching out to me for life insurance policies. Most of my family ain't reaching out to me saying, hey, can you help me roll over my 401ks? It's clients on social media, random referrals, right? Who are like, I've told this story before, but I remember one of my good brothers, someone who I love, I would take a bullet for him and his wife. I adore them. But when I first got started and asked them just to be a support training, they called it a scam. Oh, it sounds like one of those things. It's a scam. And I'm like, bro, you've known me since forever. Like, you really think I would not do my homework and be a part of an industry that's a scam? Like, I sell something that's been around since before Jesus, right? So it's not a scam, but guess what happened? A couple of years later, they became a client, right? But you want that initial support. And so I always tell people, when you stick it through and you hang in there, and yes, they'll see you become successful. Like you said, with moms, then they're like, okay, I see what you're doing. But again, it can be very frustrating because Johnny, who just became manager at McDonald's, great. I'm proud of you, Johnny. But Mark, who's building a business for him and his kids, his family, his legacy, that's going to give him residual income into the last day of his breath. Like, man, that's so crazy. But what I've learned is you got to pull them in. You got to ask them, be like, hey, can you just give me one referral this week? Hey, can you just give me just one person you can think of who's ambitious, who's hardworking, who wants to make extra income? Just because when I go to the Bahamas, I want to bring you with me, and I want to go to Bahamas, and I want to qualify for that trip. So can you support me in this? And then more people are supportive. But it's just funny how it's always kind of the same thing is when you get started, they're ghosts or they're watching your page and ain't sharing your post, but it'd be the strangers, the people you've never met who live in West Virginia who are sharing your stuff. You appreciate that person so much more. So that's always too funny. Absolutely. So my next question is, how has social media impacted your business? How has it improved it? How have you been able to leverage it to help kind of, really push your business out there faster than word of mouth?
Man, social media is powerful because you get a chance to get in front of so many people at the same time. Like, don't get me wrong, like in-person one-on-ones or meeting up for coffee and all that kind of stuff works great too. But as far as like massive exposure, think about it. It's been the same thing that industry's been doing for years, right? It's McDonald's. People, oh man, people do not go to McDonald's because the burger is good. Let's be very clear about this. I want to make sure we're very clear. People do not rave about how tasty McDonald's is. Maybe little kids, but like people with actual developed taste buds don't rave about how McDonald's is the best burger in the world and nobody can beat them. And no, the reason why McDonald's has so much success is because they have an incredible system in place. You can have a burger in Tokyo, Japan, or you can have a burger in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, or somewhere in Dubai or wherever in the world. And it's going to taste pretty similar. It might not taste exactly the same, but it's going to taste pretty similar, right? Because they have that system in place. And also, on top of that, they have an incredible, to go back to what you just said, a incredible way of marketing. They know how to get in front of a ton of people at the same time. So for years, that was happening, on commercials through regular TV and things of that nature. But time evolves, right? And now, where most of the ads are running is on your social media platform. So if I know I can put a post up, hey, if your credit score begins with a 3, 4, 5, 6, DM me, I can help you. I can put that out to the world and I can get, 50 to 100 to 500, whatever that range is, of people to look at it organically. And then you mean to tell me I could throw a little extra sugar on that thing and maybe even run an ad, throw some dollars in that thing and expand it even more. It just really builds trust. And those people are going to take you for the person that you are right now. It goes back to that support, right? They're going to take you for what they see, like the value that you add into the marketplace. So are you a person of value? Because if you're not a person of value, good luck, right? If you're just trying to sell, like, I just got to sell. You're looking at people like they got a dollar symbol on top of their head. Good luck. You're not going to have any success with that. 100%. You really got to care about people 100%. And social media has been able to help me get in front of, thousands of people in just a very short period of time. So it really 95% of my business is online. So yeah, it's very fruitful.
I like that. Yeah. And I mean, you said everything that I was going to say is just getting out there, being present is putting the information out there and making the post and getting the interaction, right? And I'm still learning that, you know, I love being in front of the camera. It's just, I'm not a big fan of editing
Right.
and captions and all. I just want to point and shoot, right? So I'm building my wealth to where I can get somebody to do that for me. But right now, it's just straight iPhone, camera stand, and let's go. But I understand the value of that, and I've gotten a lot of more traction of that, just putting out videos every single day, being consistent, people seeing it. I literally had somebody the other day tell me, they were like, look, if you're trying to have people have conviction about not having life insurance, you've won, right? And I was able to get a policy out of that because I'm like always posting about it. And if you don't have it, again, I'm going to keep posting about life insurance and retirement planning until you either get sick of me and you block me or you finally get something to improve your situation. So I'm going to keep doing that. So you made a very good point. Now, last question on this. I want to ask you a kind of personal question that's kind of funny because I was just talking to somebody about this. But in your business, as you said, you've made money, you've done well, you've been in 5 years. We've had high moments, we have challenging moments. But I'm just curious, number one, what's been the craziest purchase you've ever made where you're like, damn, I shouldn't have bought that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you were just like, I'll buy this, but I know this because I just made about $6,000 in a week.
Yeah.
I want to know what that is. And then I kind of want you to elaborate on how fun it is to be in such a lucrative industry like financial services versus people who have the 9-to-5 job, but it's DoorDash or it's Instacart. You know, it's, I got to go work 10 hours just to make $100. When our industry, we can make $100 in 15 minutes. So I want you to talk about a purchase you made where you were like, Mark, that check hit and it was on. But then I want to talk to you about how important it is to be in an industry that's going to give you that type of income versus, oh, man, I got a side hustle. Oh, I gotta go do some DoorDash. I want you to talk about that real briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember, man, it was a very large check. I was doing well, and I was also still working a full-time gig too. So things were hitting on both cylinders, man. And I remember I took an impromptu trip to New York. Right, didn't have that thing planned out, like scheduled at all. I went out there, man, for a couple of days, and literally, like, you would have thought I was Jay-Z, or you would have thought I was buying the bar. I was a friend of mine had to take my wallet, right, because I was feeling good. But I had a few drinks, and I was like, literally, like, yo, what y'all want? So I mean, straight. People didn't even know, right? I mean, so that's when you go back and look at that. I was like, man, we gotta be better than that. So that's a good thing for me. I've never really been a materialistic guy, you know, but I've been all about like my thing was always like, if I have more money, I'm gonna create more experiences, right?
Bingo.
And that's cool, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but everything needs to be planned. You don't want to do too many things impromptu, right? Because then we do that, then we start creating like those bad habits that we had previously start to stick back out, right? And we don't want to do that, man. So I was like, after I did that, I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna be better next time I go on a splurging trip, man. I ain't gonna do it like that. I spent like $2-3 grand. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. It was crazy. So that was that. So don't do that. Don't do that, right?
No, don't do that.
And then the second thing, in regards to a lucrative business, in regards to financial services, man, it's just an absolute blessing, right? To be able to share with people the proper education and information to be able to help them build and grow, right? Bingo. At the end of the day, I mean, because it's a product and service that you know everybody needs, but Bingo. It's a product and service that not everybody particularly wants to take action on. The reason it could be is it could be ego. Like, hey, look, I know I'm jacked up, but I don't want you to know I'm jacked up. Yeah. So let me just pretend like I'm good. Let me pretend like I'm good. I've been there. I get it. When I have my 471, come on, but now I'm about to preach a little bit, right? So God, come on.
Let's go.
God puts us through certain things in life, right? Let's get it. God puts us through certain things in life so we can create that testimonial, right? That's attached to having a success, right? You never want to listen to anybody. Me and my wife talk about this, right? No one ever wants to listen to anybody who hasn't been through something, right? If you come to me and say, yo, I'm in financial services. And yeah, man, I was always good. I mean, my daddy gave me, by the age of 8 years old, I had, $1 million in the bank. I've always understood the concept of money. Nobody really wants to be attracted to that. Why? Because you can't even feel my pain.
Man, talk about it.
My pain. You even know where I'm coming from. So it's a blessing where you're able to educate people. I tell people all the time, look, if I can help you, it's not a dollar amount for me, right? Reach out. Whatever questions you got, I would love to get your questions answered. Maybe what I have is for you. Maybe what I have isn't for you. I might be able to point you in the right direction, or it might be a question or two away that you're away from being answered that was answered for me that helped me make a decision to better my life. So we're all God's children, man, those who believe in the kingdom, of course, and we're just here to be able to, to spread love to each other so we can build and grow, man. Absolutely.
Man, you took us to church. Let's go. I appreciate that, brother. And it's just so amazing that you said that, because you're right. There is no dollar amount when you're serving and you're sold out to serving. That's part of my crusade, in my company. That's the crusade, is being sold out to serving others, because at the end of the day, man, we're doing God's work, right? And there's no dollar amount on that. So, man, I appreciate that answer so much. All right, real quick, rapid fire. Real quick. If you could tell your younger self an important financial tip when you were 18 years old, what would you tell yourself? Putting you on the spot.
That's big. No, that's big. I actually posed this question before in the past. Oh man, that's a good one. The biggest thing I would tell myself at that age is learn the power of investment. Right? If I can go back and change anything, man, because I'm 33 now, so not old, but it happens.
Hey, slow down. Right? I'm 36. Slow down.
Right. Not old yet, but we start to get a little more difficult to get up in the morning. That's for sure than it was about 10 years ago. But yeah, the power of investing, understand that concept, because when you can understand how to have your money work for you, it changed the game of having being able to work for it. Like so many of us idolize like these entertainers or athletes or so that are making a ton of money. But the concept that a lot of them, and I read on this stuff, I understand it, right? The concept with a lot of them is that, some of those who are able to flourish and make more money after they even stop playing, understand that concept of investment. The Shaquille O'Neals, the Michael Jordans, the list goes on and on of being able to generate and create a brand for you that's going to be able to pay you passively based off of your name. Right, because NFL, NBA, we'll talk about sports for a second.
Yeah.
NFL, NBA, all those are W-2 jobs.
Yeah.
I want to be clear on this, because we idolize these roles, and I get it, because they might be your superhero. They might be it's nothing against that. I watch sports too, so it's absolutely nothing against that. But what I'm saying is that those are W-2 jobs. When you learn how to be able to leverage that tool that you have, that's money, and being able to understand how to be able to move that tool, because that's what it is. Move that tool into different places where it can actually grow, where you don't have to work for it. That's when you put yourself in a position to become free. And that might not mean be a billionaire, right? It depends on what your personal goals are and what it is you're looking to get accomplished, man. So yeah, and long and short is that power of investment, understanding how to turn $1 into $1.50 that can become $3, so on and so forth, and make that thing grow.
Compound interest. And what's the best part you enjoy about being an entrepreneur? And what would you say is the most challenging part?
Man, the freedom is what I enjoy the most. The ability to be able to create my own schedule, not be on somebody else's schedule, not be up, go to work when they want me to go to work, take my lunch break when they say take a lunch break, get in trouble for taking a break that's too long. That's happened to me before in the past. I just felt like the anxiety of being constricted like that. Man, like I'd rather have just enough to pay my bills than to go back to that. Just so we're clear, right? You can tell me.
I feel you.
Listen, I'm telling you, man. I'd rather have just enough to survive than to go back to that type of stress, because life is short and I don't like those kind of restrictions, man. So that's that piece. The most challenging part is self-accountability, man, because when you are out there on your own and you don't have a set, it's kind of the reverse of what I just said. When you are out there on your own, you don't have a set schedule and you're not doing those type of things, it's easy to say, you know what? I know I'm supposed to get up at 8 so I can start reaching out to people, so I can start prepping for this presentation, so I can start to invite, so I can start to do all these things. But I don't got no calls. I have to I don't got no scheduled Zooms or anything. That's just activity stuff, man. I can get the extra couple hours of sleep in and just get in later or take that midday nap. So it's the discipline that has been challenges for me. in the past, and I'm still, you know, to be transparent, still challenges to this day.
Oh yeah.
Right. Being able to lock in and focus and do what I'm supposed to do on the days when I'm supposed to be doing, because there's no really person holding you accountable other than you. You only eat what you kill, right? So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I could say that's for me, especially when you know you got to make 50 calls and you blink and then it's already 2 o'clock and you're like, God, dog, I got to make 50 calls. I got to run appointments. The discipline is off the hook. And I would definitely co-sign to that. When you are an entrepreneur or you are, like you said, self-accountable, man, that's what takes a lot of people out. Because again, I said this already. It's very simple to get in your car, go to your 9 to 5, do your job, you know, be on Instagram most of the shift, you know, chilling. But like when I'm on Instagram, it's either to post, respond, send something, and I got to get off. Because once you get sucked in and you lose 3 hours, you're like, dude, I could have ran 2 appointments. I could have wrote 3 apps. I could have made $1,200 in that hour, 2 hour span. Right? I could have made a phone call to a client just to see if they understand their benefits of their policy. But then when I don't do that, then somebody else comes along and then takes them away. I'd be like, yep, that was me chilling on Instagram. That was me sleeping in, right? And that's how I think is I don't want to get any steps further behind my competition. That's a hell no, right? And like you said, it's like sports. So I hear that. Last question. When you leave this earth, there's going to be a mark of Tymere on this planet, right? And I don't believe you don't have any kids yet, right?
Where?
Do you have kids?
Yep.
You do? Okay, how old are your kids?
Yep. Oh man, we got a wide range. We got a blended family, man.
Oh, blended family.
It's all over the place. 3, 10, 12, 13, 12-year-old, and then 16 next month. 6.
Got you. Okay, so you have a nice family. So you have a lot of legacy to live on this earth, which is awesome. So with that being said, what do you want your legacy to be, right? When we leave this earth and your legacy's fulfilled and you go to glory, what legacy, what are they going to say about Tymere? What do you want the world to know about you?
Leader and educator is the 2 biggest things, man. Leader and educator, just the ability to be able to help other people, man. I feel so good about that, right? Like literally, like people would say that, but it's normally like a something that has to be attached to that for them to be able to have success. But I love watching somebody start from like crawling, so to speak, to be able to walk, jog, and sprint, man. I just love watching that evolution, so to speak. So I got a lot of passion behind that. So, you know, Tymere Grant, you know, was a leader and also an educator who just loved helping people grow. So that's for sure the 2 biggest things for me that I literally is on my mind every single day. How can I be a better leader? How can I further educate today than what I did yesterday?
Cool. Yep. Ooh, that's what I like. And so tell everybody what city and state you are located in and how they can reach out to you for their services.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, man. So if you're interested in increasing your cash flow, eliminating your debt, right? Becoming debt-free for life, get into a new home, right? Increasing that credit score, you know, anything of that nature. Reach out, man. DM me the word cash flow all together, man. I only work with the serious, don't work with the curious, man. So if you want to be able to lock into this thing and really be able to run, let me know. We can talk about it, right? See if you qualify. I got a couple of slots available. Like I said, as I'm looking to work with people, I'm also looking not to be worked, right? So so to speak, and wasting time, man, because we can't waste time on anything, man. So be serious about it. Want to have a conversation? Let's talk. Let's go, and let's see what's up, man.
I might have to borrow that. I only want to work with the serious, not the curious. I might have to borrow that. So if you hear me say it on like a couple of my videos, I'm giving you credit now. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. That's dope, brother. Yeah, and like you said, man, hey, take care of that debt, build that cash flow, and then, you know, you can come holler at me. I can help you with your insurance and all that stuff, and we work hand in hand. But for real, though, this is a good brother right here. Thank you for hopping on. Man, I remember last time we did a conversation. It was great. We're going to do many more. I'm going to keep giving him challenging questions because I always love talking to other believers. We are unashamed about our faith and our mission. About faith, family, finance, fitness, man, we're all for it. So thank you again, brother, man. This was awesome. I love how you kept it 100. And we'll do it again sometime, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Mark.
All right, take care. Have a good day, brother.
All right, brother.
All right, cool. But yeah, man, y'all heard it right there, man. This is what we're about, man. We're about our faith, our family, finance, and fitness. You already know that's my 4 pillars. That's what I'm on 24/7. That's how I make my decisions in life. That's how I work and manage my business is off those 4 pillars. So if anything I got going on is not related or connected to any one of those, actually all of those 4 pillars, I don't want no association. I don't want to deal with it. I don't, because that's what I'm all about. But I'm all about helping others. I'm all about improving your life, right? I'm all about you eating better, you saving better, you living better. And I want to make sure that when you get a service from me, man, you know that I'm leading with love and I'm doing the best to take care of you. So as you saw, reach out to my brother Tymere again, man, going from a 471. Hell, I had a 530 at one point before I got my life together. So I know what it's like to climb from the bottom to the top, but it can be done through discipline, hard work, building a business. You know, as you guys know, I'm with PHP Agency on my shirt. We're always teaching. We're always recruiting. I work with agents all across this country, literally from LA to Arizona to Texas, Dallas, Texas, Houston. We have an Austin office, Michigan. I got agents in Georgia, Maryland, Florida. I got to work with people all over this country who are looking to make some extra income. So reach out to me. If that's you, like he said it, I want to work with the serious, not the curious. But if you want to make some extra income or you want more information on life insurance, retirement planning, please reach out to me. Go to my DMs. You can comment on this post, reach out to me, and I'll reach out to you soon. Other than that, again, you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in. Or if you're watching the replay of this, thank you for watching. Man, you guys take care. Have a good day. How do I end this? Bam.